Hello, this is Rachel with Miniaturists, and today I'm going to show you how to make this adorable bench with table. And then I don't want to waste any materials, so we're going to make a cute little photo frame and serving tray. So let's get started. This is the bench, and this is the cute little serving tray that we are going to use with the kit, and then a little picture frame. So I try to use all the materials in this. A couple things you'll need is your kit. This came in the 2025 October Dollhouse Miniature subscription box. You can check that out at miniaturists.com. We're going to need some glue. I use two types of glue, a combination of them both. So super glue and just regular Well-Bond glue. I like to, for my super glue, have a container and some toothpicks. You may want a little piece of sandpaper and then an X-Acto knife. And then you may need these. I like to have these on hand. These are little clips to hold the pieces together while they dry. All right, so let's get started. First thing we're going to want to do is let's take our container here and add just a little bit of glue to it. It dries pretty quickly, as you may know, so I only want a little. So I use a combination of super glue and regular wood glue because the chemical reaction, when you use it together, it's going to give you almost an instant bond. So I like to use it together because I'm pretty impatient when it comes to building miniatures. So let's go ahead. So for your pieces, you may want to pop them, take an X-Acto knife and just pop the pieces. They're holding together with just a little piece here. So if you pop it, they should pop out a lot easier. If you do get a little piece, like say like this, that's where your sandpaper will come in handy. And then you can sand any piece that may need it. So let's go ahead and pop out the two end pieces. And again, save all your scraps because we may need those for these little extra bonus projects. Okay, so now I have my two end pieces. They're ready to go. The next thing you're going to need are the bench seats. So that's all these. So if you want to go ahead, pop those out. Again, I'm going to use my X-Acto knife. And I can see where they're holding together. With my knife, I'm just going to push down to gently loosen them up. And then the same on the other side. Those look pretty good. So they should come all apart. So these are the bench support pieces. And so we should have 5. Okay, so now I have all my bench pieces ready. I have my side supports ready. And then next, let's go ahead and grab, this is the back of the bench. I'm going to take my X-Acto knife, see where I need just to pop out those pieces. And again, save all your scraps because this is going to be, these two pieces are going to be needed for the tray. All right. So there's that. Pop out these. Scissors would probably work for this also, whatever you have on hand. All right, so I'm going to set these pieces aside. Sand any pieces that need it. All right. So the first thing we want to do is we're going to slide this into there. Make sure it fits before we slide it in. So slide it into the little holes, and then we are going to glue this together. So to do that, I'm just going to add a little bit of super glue in here, in these little holes, with a little bit of my wood glue. And like I said, this helps to not, it's like an instant bond. So it really helps when you are impatient like me and you don't want to wait for your minis to dry. Okay, I'm just wiping off the excess glue here on the sides. So for my minis, I sometimes like to finish them before I glue. So I will do like my staining or my painting beforehand. That's something you can definitely, I would recommend here. Sometimes when you get glue on the outside, you can sometimes see it with your stain. So if that's something that you think you want to do beforehand, I would do that before gluing. Okay, so now we have our back. And again, if you want to hold them in place, you could just set this on its back and let it dry. Or you can hold them in place with like these little clips. They're always come in handy, like I said. And whoops, that didn't work. Let's try that again. All right. There we go. All right, so we're gonna let that dry. And now we're gonna move on to the bench portion. So what we're gonna do is 5, you'll see that 5 of them are the same height. And then you have 1, that's gonna be for the front of the bench. So we're just gonna set that aside for right now. And we are going to place the benches along here, and then we are going to glue just like we did before. We're going to do the super glue and then the regular glue, and we're going to glue along the bench seat. So I'm going to take these off. Okay, so I have all my bench pieces in place. I'm making sure that they're all evenly spaced. And then I'm gonna go ahead and let this dry before moving to the next step. Okay, so now my bench is dry. We're gonna move on to putting on this front piece. So that'll go right in between there, and it's going to sit flush with the top here, okay? So you can go ahead and glue that on. And then all we do next is we're going to put our back on. So that's on this piece right here. Just pop that out. And we are gonna glue it right onto here. So add some glue. Okay, so add some glue here and here. And again, I can add a little bit of my super glue, which already dried. So let's get a little more. I have a love-hate relationship with super glue. That's why I find if I use a toothpick, I don't have a chance of gluing my fingers together. Has anyone ever done that? It's really quite fun. All right, so I'm just gonna add a little, spread out that glue. I love the look of this bench. Actually would like one of these for my real house. Oops, and I got it upside down. All right, so there we go. Get it on there. All right, so that's what it'll look like from the front. Looks good. Let's gonna go ahead and let that dry. I didn't glue my piece on yet. And then the last thing you can do with this bench is, I thought it needed some arms. So that's where this piece and this piece come into play now. I'm just gonna punch them out. Okay, and they should pop out. There we go. Okay, again, sand them if need be. We got a couple pieces hanging there. Okay, and then we're going to add glue along here. Oops, I guess my little piece isn't dry over there. Add glue here and here. And a little bit of the super glue. Okay, and then we can add our chair arms on the arms. I thought it just gave it a little finishing touch. Okay, I should just go and glue this on right away. So there's our bench. It's looking great. Next, we're gonna move on to the table. So you're gonna need this piece. See if it pops out here. There we go. Come on, piece. Being difficult for me. There we go. And then the one on the other side. Okay, again, sand if you need to. Let's get the edges square, flat. And then the other thing you'll need is that piece and that piece. These little ones, that's going to be for the side of our table. Okay, got those out. And here I'll show you the table. So this is what we're creating. So these are the front, those are the little sides, and then we need the top, which is part of this piece. We can take these insides out if they're in there. So that's the top. So this is pretty straightforward. We're gonna glue this onto here, just like so. So if I'm gonna need glue all along here. Oops. Some super glue. Glue those legs on. And you guessed it, let it dry. Just kind of hold it in place for a couple seconds. Making sure that it's flush at the sides. And then we're going to go ahead and glue these pieces in the middle on the sides. Put the glue on the ends. And these little sides should go right there because you don't want to see it from the top. So they're going to go along these right here because you don't definitely want to see it. So we'll do the same with the other side. Put a little glue here. And then pop our side piece in. And then just hold that all in place. Making sure that they're flush. And then we're going to let that dry. All right, so now you had a few extra pieces that were left over. So I thought, well, let's make something out of it. So the first one was a tray for your little table so you can carry all your refreshments out and such. And then I had this other little piece that was part of the chair that looked like a really cute picture frame to me. So the picture frame is right here. Now you want to be, it's this piece right here. You want to be pretty careful with getting it out because it is pretty thin. What you're going to do is just add the littlest amount of glue. And my glue is being difficult. I love this glue bottle, but once in a while it gets stuck trapped in that the little nozzle, so you have to clean it out. All right, so like I said, just the littlest amount of glue, and you again want to be careful with this because it is pretty fragile. And I do recommend that maybe you put your artwork in there first and then glue. But what you're going to do is just pop it right on there. It's just a little frame, and I have that here to see. So it might be easier to, like I said, put your artwork on there and then put the frame on. Okay, so that's your first bonus. And then your second bonus is a little tray. Again, sand any pieces that need to be sanded. You are going to take that same concept, glue the tray top on, and then your little handles are right here. Again, being pretty careful because this is thinner wood. This is only 1/16 inch wood. Okay, so you're going to put a little glue here and in here and in here, and you're going to glue the handles into those little notches. I better put some glue here. All right. I just thought this was like the cutest serving tray. I think what I'll do is hold it together with my clips. Okay, and then I'm just going to stick the handles. They should fit right in those little holes. So easy, right? Oh, where's my other handle? Here it is. All right, and there you go. You have this cute little serving tray. So I hope you enjoyed this project, and if you are a subscriber, thank you so much. I can't wait to see your fall front porches. And if you want to check it out, become a subscriber, go to MikeDropMiniatures.com. All right, thank you everyone.